So I always had a bit of an entrepreneur spirit in me. The family background and my dad was also a businessman. All of my people in the family is a businessman. So I had a little bit of, that spark that, okay, you need to do the entrepreneurial thing, build something of value, create something. So when I turned like 2023, it kind of peaked.
What has been your biggest month to date in terms of revenue?
In October, we closed almost like 40 grand a month in
Wow,
retainers.
that's incredible.
Like there have been months that I work like 20 hours a day, burned out, and I'd be sleeping on the weekends.
What would you say to someone out there running an agency and maybe frustrated with their progress and they're on the fence about getting mentorship or coaching? What would you say to them?
So I would say getting an advice was from someone who actually understands what you are trying to do is far more valuable than you putting in months to figure that part out yourself. Okay, just ask the right person. Just ask, okay?
Well, nice. Saad, thanks very much for doing this, brother. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks for hopping on.
No, man, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
So the first
Yeah.
question I usually ask anyone I chat to is tell me a little bit or tell who the viewer a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and kind of where you started and how you got to where you're at right now.
Yeah, of course, of course. So I always had a bit of an entrepreneur spirit in me, to be fair, from day one. And that is probably because of, the family background and my dad. My dad was also a businessman. All of my people in the family is a businessman. So I had a little bit of, that spark that, okay, you need to do the entrepreneurial thing, build something of value, create something. So always had that in me. And so when I turned like 2023, it kind of peaked. And like, yeah, now I need to create something. And here we are. Here we are.
Yeah,
But
funny enough, I think I actually started my agency when I was 23. It was my fourth or fifth business. I started a couple of e-com brands before that, but yeah, similar to your story, I had the entrepreneur gene, and it was a matter of if, or sorry, a matter of when rather than if. And yeah, like my agency, had you started any businesses before your agency, or was your agency your first business?
oh no, I had businesses before this agency. So when I was 21, it was actually not my business. It was some of the shipments that arrived in my father's business, and there were some products, shoes. So we had like a shipment of 4,000 shoes that they got out of an auction, and they were like if it's yours if you want to sell them. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. My first step as a business entrepreneur was in that niche, particularly selling e-commerce shoes. I set up a distribution channel. I set up, these Shopify stores, learning some ads and everything. Actually, Tala was the guy who was running ads for me back then. That's how well him and I connected. So it went well, but like after a while, my dad was like, I could just send them in wholesale to one person. Yeah, there's a story of how that business concluded. But yeah, it was like I started doing it into consumer, like direct to consumer, which was good. It was a good, first business, if I
Yeah,
may.
a little bit of a dip your feet into ads as well. Your first kind of taste of the ads world.
Yeah, that was the first time I ran on ads on anything related to
Yeah.
my business. Yeah, that was the first
Yeah,
time.
cool, cool. And then so moving on to SMMA, when you were starting your agency, what kind of attracted you to the agency business model? What did you like about it? Why did you go for the agency business model?
So that's actually a good story. So I basically so I graduated, and after that I spent a year of training for an exam, which is a bureaucracy exam in my country, Pakistan. So when I was done with my exam, I basically was accepted as an executive assistant to CEO in a digital marketing agency. And I had the privilege of working under one of the best bosses that one can have. Like I have been truly blessed in that regard specifically. So I mean, Hassan Saifullah was a great leader. He taught me everything I knew. He taught me sales. He taught me how to talk to people. He taught me how to even back then I did not even know how to properly formulate emails. He taught me how to do that. So I was working under him, and he had a digital marketing agency. But what I created was not actually a digital marketing agency. It was more of an HR outsourcing business.
Hmm.
So our product, our offering is somewhat very different to normal digital marketing agencies. And I got that vision from him exactly. Like I was working with him, and just, he introduced me to a software called Go High Level. And I was like, okay, yeah, let me just go in and about it. And the problem was Go High Level was so difficult for someone to understand that not everyone would be able to. If you're not technical, you will not get anywhere with Go High Level. That's what I realized back then.
Hmm.
So my core product became, providing Go high level expertise. And we didn't narrow down to any niche. We were like just every single person just providing Go high level expertise. So I'm not sure if I would categorize that as SMMA. I might. I mean, but the goal was to go high level associates, go high level expertise, go high level build outs, and go high level backend support, ongoing support. That was the path that I took. And
Got you. So more like a back end software sort of infrastructure build out agency rather than, performance ads, things like that, generally where people usually go down.
exact. Performance ads are a small segment of what we do. So it wasn't like like if you put in the segregation, like 85% of our clientele is from Go High Level, and then like maybe 8% of it is from performance ads, and then 8% in the end is from the
Mhm.
content department, which we just recently created like 3 months ago. But the main crux of what our offering is has, and I think will always be, Go High Level.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, well, Go High Level has absolutely exploded. Like when I started my agency 5 years ago, I don't even know if Go High Level existed. How old is Go High Level? Is it more than
Go High
5 years
Level,
old?
more than 5 years. Yeah, I think they got the first funding 6 years ago.
Right,
So
okay. Yeah, like when I started my agency, no one used Go High Level. Like it's absolutely exploded. Yeah, agency owners like you are tapping into that lucrative opportunity. Um,
exactly.
I hope you're enjoying this student interview so far, and if these results have got you pumped to scale your own agency, I've got something very special for you. Below this video, you'll see a link where you can book a call for my one-to-one mentorship program. Inside, I'm guaranteeing you your first 5 clients on your agency journey. I can do this because I've crafted systems and strategies that I know work after coaching hundreds of other agency owners in your position to 10, 20, and even 30K per month. I only coach 10 people per month as it's all one-to-one and super custom, so if this sounds of interest, click the link below and book a call. Now back to the interview. So, when you were first starting your agency, what were what were the biggest pain points for you guys to grow? What did you struggle with the most at the start?
So one thing, we had no idea what Go High Level was. Okay. So I basically played around with Go High Level a little bit, but not onto the level that you might call as a Go High Level expert. So, and I was always good at sales. Like I would be the, face of, just talk to people, get more sales, get revenue coming in. So the first pain point was to understand the software in and out. So for that, that's where Shihir came in and basically helped us out in the entire, systems and, create everything. And the other pain point, which was also a very main pain point, was to how to train someone on this particular software. What's going to be the rubric from A to Z? Like, let's say I want to get an expert out there in 3 weeks. How do I do that? Okay, so we need to figure out, okay, which are the main things that every single business uses. Okay, these 4 sections of Go High Level, let's look at maybe the opportunity pipeline sites and, website section, automation section, and maybe the membership section are 4 things that maybe coaches use. These 4 things are what that this business use. So to get them up and running, within the course of 3 to 4 weeks, get them trained on everything with practical tasks, with vivas, all of that was the major pain point. It was the selling. I consider selling was not the difficult part of this journey. The difficult part of this journey was creating resources who can provide immense value to any business owners by utilizing Go High Level. That was the first thing that we were trying to, it took us weeks to actually months to just figure that part out.
Yeah, yeah. So building out, I guess, your talent because a lot of your offer revolves around Go High Level associates that are going into people's businesses and kind of running the back end for them. So kind of figuring out
Exactly.
what that looks like and finding the talent. Is
Talent
that fair
and
to say?
infra Yeah, talent and infrastructure at the same time. So a lot of agencies, what they were doing, and now I see a lot of agents, what they do is they get someone, they train them on certain aspects of Go High Level, and they allocate them to an agency. The problem with that is high level is so vast that it's really impossible to get someone experienced in all of the aspects of that software in a month's time or even 2 months' time. So that was like one thing we figured out down the line. That was like, okay, even if like you train them, like they're working 8 hours a day, just trading 8 hours a day, doing tasks, doing assignments, doing Vivas, it's still not going to be enough. So we had to create an infrastructure at the back end to support the associates, which are supporting the clients.
Yeah,
So it
gotcha.
was like a 2-tier steps. So one person here and client facing role and the other person at the back end with that role. Because let's say something came out, a new feature came out. High Level just released, I think, 2 dozen features in the past like 2 weeks ago. Like these, like
Yeah.
it exploded. exploded the summit. I think it exploded, like, the AI employees coming out, conversation AI V2 is coming out. So many things are being rolled out by them every single week that we need someone to keep pace with that. So we set up an entire department for it, the R&D department.
Hmm.
And now we're not even consigned to a high level anymore. We're working on AI calling systems, Vappy, Synflow. We're working on chatbots, Zappy Chat, Closebot. We're working on a lot of other items as well. So that, every single integration with Go High Level that can be of any use to an agency owner is something that we should have expertise on.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got all avenues covered. Pretty exciting stuff. Pretty exciting stuff.
Trying to, like, every single day is a new challenge. And I think that's particularly why I love this role as well, because every day you're trying to reinvent something, you're trying to, improve something, which is a really fun part, to be fair.
Yeah, I said that. That's actually a really good point. I say that to any student I take on or anybody who I talk to on these interviews. What I love about the marketing agency model and what attracted me to the agency model was there's so many different facets of an agency that you have to be good at in order to grow a marketing agency. Because
Exactly.
you can maybe fluke a couple of clients, but in order to grow a 6 and 7 figure agency, you have to be good at outreach, you have to be good at hiring, you have to be good at sales, you have to be good at service delivery, you have to be good at all these things. And that puts some people off because it sounds like hard work. But crafting and sharpening those skills is going to be, first of all, it's going to turn you into an incredible entrepreneur. But whatever you
Yeah,
go, or whatever avenue, whatever business you go into for the rest of your entrepreneurial career, you're going to kill it because you can do all of those things. And most importantly, you can market. If you can market, you can grow.
exactly. Yeah, we understood that part initially. The infrastructure part I came out. So I was good at sales, but what I wasn't good at was operations. So I was like, okay, I can handle one part of it. And this came to me when I landed my first client. Okay, I landed my first client. I was like, okay, the sale is here. What do I do now? Okay, and like, okay, let's do this. And then, in the first month, I landed so many sales that my partner back then was getting overwhelmed. He was like, I can't handle it anymore. Just like we can't do it. Like, this is just too much.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's just try and refigure this part out back. So, and it was too much because, like I said, we weren't that level of experts. But we created that infrastructure. We got people. We have people on the team that are certified high level admins, that are certified high level experts by Go High Level itself. They have the badge. They are on the team. So now we figured that part out. But initially, this was like, okay, the infrastructure. How do we do that? The ops. How do we do that? Like you said, you
Yeah.
can fluke 3 clients. You can't fluke dozens of them. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not possible.
But I think that's the best way to do it because so many people they overanalyze, they get analysis paralysis, and they want everything perfect before they actually go out there and get clients and get results. For me, the best way to figure things out and the best way to grow is get the clients first, and then when you have capacity issues or when you have back end operations issues, figure it out. Think on your feet, think fast. But there's no
Exactly.
point overanalyzing, want getting everything perfect. This is a very, very common thing with beginners. They want everything perfect before they get those couple of clients, get the clients, and then that puts you under pressure to figure it out on the back end.
Exactly, man. You just hit the gist of it. To be fair, this has been my policy from day one. Okay, you guys figure out the back end. I'll figure out the client. Okay, I'll get the client, and then if money is flowing in, everything's fine. Okay, if
Mhm.
revenue is flowing in, we can figure everything else out. Like, I follow Mark Cuban a lot. Like, I'm a huge fan. That he would say the biggest thing that any business needs is sales.
Mhm.
I have seen businesses falter just because that they couldn't wrinkle out this part. Like, okay, they're like, okay, build our entire operations infrastructure. Wow, everything looks so fine. That okay, this is going here from this department, moving to this department, yada 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 yada. Okay, all of that. But if there's no sales, what's the point of building that stuff in the first place, right?
Exactly. No, I agree 100%. Get the money in, get the cash in, get the clients in, perfect everything on the journey. That's definitely my thought process on it. But you've touched on it a little bit there. And just to go back to it, tell me about that feeling when you got the first client, because that puts the pressure on then somebody's paying you to do their go high level or do their marketing. How did that feel? And tell me a little bit about that process.
So, great question. So, I landed the first client in like 7 days, in 8 days. First Go High Level client, I landed in 8 days with bare minimum knowledge of Go High Level. So actually, it was more of a freeing feeling that I got. Okay, I can do this. All right, I can handle it. But then the responsibility kicked in
Mhm.
after a couple of hours. Okay, I can get the sale. How do I cater to it? How about the operations part? How do I do all of that? So that kicked in, and I was just sitting there and thinking, okay, we do this, we do this, we do this. And my partner back then he helped me a lot. Like he said, okay, problem one is sorted. You're confident. Okay, how many clients can you get in the first month? Like, okay, I'll get 3 to 4 clients easily in the first month. And we did that because we had a low ticket offering. We didn't even know it was selling, which is why, again, we didn't know it was selling for a while, a long time until we figured out, products and everything. You helped us in that, entire process, of course. So it's like, okay, just let it keep coming in. Even if it's low ticket, don't worry about it. Just keep coming in and we'll handle it, we'll handle it, we'll handle it. And we did that. We did that. We built out an infrastructure. We trained 3 people initially. Then those 3 people trained other people and the people and the people and people, and now it's like 70 people. So we've come a
Yeah.
long way.
Yeah. I think it's the same for every agency owner, at least that I've met or spoken to or mentored. Your first 3 to 5 clients are so, so important just to validate the business model for you, just to show yourself that you can make money from this. This is something that you can build to, validate, what you read online about being able to scale a marketing agency, get clients quickly, grow a company, just to give you that validation. And then once that kind of settles in and the dust settles, then as you say, the responsibility and pressure to get results comes in. And
Exactly.
yeah, it's a very, very exciting feeling, but then it kind of holds the fire to you, and you're like, okay, someone's paying me to get them a desired outcome or optimize their go high level or run their ads, whatever it may be. I got to go out and get this person results. So I was the exact same, and it's funny how everyone's similar in that regard. But as I said, the important thing is just speed. I think the important thing is speed because if you perfect everything, you're gonna go nowhere fast. And I think just getting those first 3 to 5 clients fast, which leads perfectly into my next question because it sounds like you guys have moved incredibly fast over the last
Oh,
1 to 2 years.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
what has been your biggest month? I believe it was last month or this current month. What has been your biggest month to date in terms of revenue?
So God has been really kind to us, to be fair. God has been really kind. So the biggest month in terms of revenue came in back in August this year. But the biggest month that we had as a company, as an institution, was last month because that a lot of that revenue came in from one single project. But, a couple of things happened, like we dwindled a little bit, but we were able to do, like, if I may put it plainly, like our company went through a tough patch, really, really tough patch in the past couple of months. But how we basically came together and came out of it was last month. So there was, if someone would say, what's the best month as a company, the last month had been perfect because every single person, they played their part. Sales department played their part, ops department played their part, training, R&D, every single person came together and they played their part because that was necessary to basically be ready for the revenue that's going to come in the next couple of months. So it's more of a cycle for us. Revenue wise, like I said, August has been the best one. We closed huge deals in August. A couple of clients were really, really massive clients. But as a company, as an entire institution, October has been the best one.
The viewers on the edge of their seat in terms of the revenue number. Can you give us a number that you did for October in terms of your biggest month?
In October, we closed almost like 40 grand a month in
Wow,
retainers.
that's incredible.
Yeah,
That's incredible. And
yeah.
how long have you been running your agency?
So it's been 16 months now.
16 months. It's incredible. I
16.
say it to everyone. There's no better business model to scale to serious, serious numbers than the agency model. There's no better model out there. You can jump into drop shipping, you can jump into trading, you can try and hit the algorithm, but you're not growing a brand, you're not growing a business, you don't have a team, you're not getting fulfillment from that kind of stuff. There is no better business model than the agency model to hit that kind of number. Like, you tell me, what business can you start 16 months down the line? You can be doing those kind of numbers,
Oh
40K a
no,
month.
no,
Incredible.
nothing. No, no, because like, yeah, nothing because the agency is, yeah, you're right. I don't think there is any business. out there that does that. That, but with the investment that involved in the agency model, it's very less in comparison. Like there are businesses that might be able to get you that point, but the investment is huge.
Yeah.
And with the agency model, like, negligible investment, you can just start off. You can scale. Like I always say this, like small to medium, it's easy to scale on the agency model. Medium to, like large, that's where the challenge comes in. That's where, complexity comes in, and every single business owner gets stuck. How do I get from like easily, people can get to 20K easy. Okay, 25K easy. Okay, after 25K, okay, that's where it kicks in. Okay, how do I scale this to a point? How do I
Yeah.
replicate this? In our model, I mean, agency slash HR backend office type model.
Yeah.
It's very
No,
different.
100%. 100%. And the entrepreneur gene, like once you get to 40K, you want to get to 50K. Once you get to 50K, you want to get to 100K. And you keep pushing and keep pushing. So there's always going to be that next goal. But,
Yeah,
congratulations. Those kind of results are absolutely incredible. And we're going to, over the next 3 to 6 months, we're going to scale that up even quicker. We're going to double that bad boy. But what would you
definitely.
say if we go back to, I guess, your journey? Tell us about some of the, because we just talked about it there, and that's actually a really, really good point. And a lot of people don't like to talk about that. Entrepreneurship, there are ups and downs. Like it is not a smooth journey. Anybody who's been in entrepreneurship for, at least 12 to 24 months will tell you there are ups and downs. It can be a lonely journey. So tell us about some of the, tell us about some of the, I guess, the tougher moments in terms of getting to that number over the last 16 months that, maybe a lot of entrepreneurs wouldn't even like to discuss.
So yes, you're right. It's a lonely journey, but I've always had my partners along with me. Like these guys have been great help. To be fair, these guys have been great. And the tougher moments. The one of the biggest toughest moments was, we basically had a major client we were working with, and all of a sudden something wrong with the client's operations and everything, not from our side, but from their side, and they had to cut down on financing and budgeting and everything. So a lot of our revenue dropped from there immediately, massively. And I sat down, and when I heard the news, I sat down in a chair and I was like, okay, we need to recoup this. We need to recoup this. And those numbers were just impossible to get to at that point for us. But
So
I was like,
one of your biggest clients left you.
yeah, it didn't leave it. Like they were with us. The numbers, they basically had a couple of ups, downs on their end, due to which they had to, limit the team that was working with them. So they didn't like we were working with them, but like for example, if they had like
They
35
decreased
sales,
their retainer.
they decreased the retainer, exactly. They decreased the number of resources that were working with them.
Yeah.
So that was like, as a CEO, I was like, I sat down and I was like, okay, this basically puts a hole in our entire trajectory for the next 4 months. Like the next four
Yeah.
month trajectory work if this does not work. So I need to recoup that amount as a CEO, and like there was no sales department. Growth Guild has never had a sales department. So I was saying that in the past 16 months, we have not had sales department for 15 months. Sales department was created last month. So I was the only one that was doing the sales and everything. And I sat down, I
Busy
looked at the
guy.
number.
Busy
I mean,
guy.
yeah, just
Yeah.
the sales. Like I was just handling the sales. I was handling client facing roles. The model was simple. Just get the sale, hand it over to the person, and them and their team lead will, manage it from there. But like last month, I looked at it. I looked at the number and I was like, can I get to it? Can I get to it in a month? Because if I don't get to it, we might need to do some massive layoffs. Okay. And I was like, that, I think that was one of the toughest times for me because I take every single thing as a challenge as long as I'm the one that is being affected. But if I had not gotten this right, okay, if I and the sales department, my head of sales, Hamad, then, Hina, the people that worked on this. So like, I was saying that if everyone had not played their part, like my head of sales, Hamad, Hina, Zen, me, and basically the account managers, Kainat, and Umar, if they had not played their part the way they did, we would have to like, go to layoffs. We would have to do massive layoffs.
Yeah.
And
And we don't want
it
that.
was,
We certainly
no,
don't
we
want
don't
that.
want that. As an owner, I would, we don't want to do that, because that we never done that before previously, like massively. We haven't gone that route. But
Yeah.
again, we did that. It was like the most difficult moment for us as a company, for me as, the CEO and head of sales of the company. But we got through it. So,
That's what it's all about. Resilience, consistency, showing up every single day. That's probably one of the biggest parts of not only being an
Yeah.
agency owner, but being an entrepreneur, you know.
First to enter, last to leave, I always say, you know.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And it's hard. It's hard. You know, if you do a corporate 9 to 5 or you do any other career other than entrepreneurship, you have a line manager, you have a director, you have somebody standing over you, giving you support, telling you what to do, telling you what not to do. You don't have that with entrepreneurship. You get up
No,
and you start and you sit at your desk. There's no one standing over you telling you you need to do a full day's work. There's no one standing over you telling you to do outreach, telling you need to learn service delivery. Nobody. So
no.
I think learning to learning to have a ton of willpower first and foremost, but showing up every single day with absolutely nobody there to direct you. And probably, I guess you might have had, you know, you really value mentorship there because that first mentor you had, you know, that you talked about at the start of the video probably was super valuable in terms of showing you the ropes. Having someone like that can be very, very valuable because, as I say, there's no roadmap for entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So the reason we took the mentorship, like at this point, was we understood this part because we were growing massively. Like at this number that we're on right now, I'm like, if I take one wrong step, this wrong step happened, right? Okay, it happened, and I'm the CEO. I'm responsible. So if I take one more wrong step this way, okay, things will go south, and things won't just go south for me. Things will go south for the entire company. So, and well, like you said, it's a very scary place because you don't have anyone to turn to telling you, what do I do? What do I
Yeah.
do? Do I get this right? There are no, like, there's like, how do I know you can deliver? You don't, but I can. Okay,
Yeah.
it's more of that perspective. So that's why we went in, like, Talha, me, Shahi was sat together. Like, we need this. We need a
Yeah.
coach. We
Yeah,
need
no, great
someone.
point. Mentorship is something that I value massively because when I first started my agency, probably similar to you guys, when I first started my agency, I scaled very, very quickly. And actually, very similar to you guys, I used a lot of Upwork at the time. This was 5 years ago, back when like Upwork didn't even have connects. Like Upwork was, it was super lucrative for my agency. And
Mm.
I scaled very, very quickly because there was so much opportunity on there. And my problem was I could get the clients in, but they would leave just as quick as they came in because I had no idea what I was doing on the service delivery side of things. And there was just no back end infrastructure. There were no systems. There was no streamlined infrastructure to really make sure that they got results. And it was incredibly frustrating working my ass off to get clients and then they just left. So I had to keep refilling my bucket every single month. And my first mentor taught me service delivery. That was like the main thing. And not so much me service delivery. I can run a Facebook ad, but I mean, I'm no genius on Facebook ads, but he taught me how to hire the right people and how to have systems in place to make sure that the client came first. And we were really
Mhm.
focusing on getting them results and not just lining my own pocket. So that was really a massive turning point for me because that meant I could scale so much more efficiently. Because if you're constantly having to refill your bucket, it just makes things so hard and heavy and arduous every single month. So that was my first kind of experience with mentorship, and ever since then, yeah, I'm kind of like a bit of a mentorship addict. I'm always looking for something else to invest in, but for me it's a must if you want to scale your company, because what you don't know, you don't know. And the great thing about mentorship is obviously to tell you what to do, but also to tell you what not to do, because you can burn a lot of money, you can burn a lot of resources and cash reserves if you're just you don't have any direction on what you're doing.
Exactly. The trajectory needs to be aligned, which is why, we were like, at this point, we were like, we have been just doing every single thing for like, we've been targeting business owners, we've been targeting agency owners, we've been targeting, any person that requires any help in high level. But let's, you know, productize it. Let's put in a fair pricing for it. Just simplify it. And then, and I think we had a conversation about this week as well, right? Last week actually. That okay, how do we productize? How do we niche down to one particular item and then scale from there?
Yeah.
So I do agree 100%, man. Like this needs to happen. Like for us, like people look at us and we're like, okay, this guy's got everything figured out. As CEOs, they'll look at us and they're like, oh, this guy's like, he's doing perfectly. He knows his next two moves. He knows his next five moves. What they don't know is that we are in the dark as much as they are. Okay, we are trying to figure those things out as we go along. The only problem is that the pressure for us is massive in comparison to the pressure for them. They mess up, it's fine. Okay, we got their back. We mess up, we're alone. Okay,
Yeah.
no one's gonna come help us. Okay, we're alone. We mess up, it's bad.
And that's the responsibility and that's the pressure you sign up for as an entrepreneur, as a, an agency owner. But what comes with that is that I feel like with entrepreneurship, the highs are so high, but the lows are so low. When you feel that pressure, when you're going through, low points, it's really, really bad. But when you get those high points and the business is scaling and you're waking up every single day excited to go to work and you're making sales and you see the revenue going up, it's like endorphins. Like you get a high from it. It's super exciting. So it's
Yeah.
a yeah, with entrepreneurship, the highs are high, but the lows are low.
Especially sales. I say everyone, sales is addictive. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't get that kick. You can't get that kick out of anything else. The kick you get from closing a client, like, I close clients, like, if we have like, I have a sales meeting after this in like 20 minutes. Okay. If that client closes, I'll be happy for the rest of the day.
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm good. Okay. I don't need anything. If that doesn't happen, I'm like, oh shit, I'm doing something wrong. Okay. It goes, the down is really bad, but the high is really
100%.
great. So,
I
yeah.
100%
Same.
agree. Yeah. Sales is a big one. It's because sales is quite a tough one because sales can be hard. It can be cutthroat. And you really need to hone your craft. You need to get the reps in. And when you spend 60 minutes on a call with someone, selling to them, trying to reframe them, using psychology, like
Yeah.
it's very fulfilling when you make the sale. Because a lot of the time they'll give you an objection, they'll give you a financial objection or time objection or whatever objection they give you. And then if you reframe them and kind of talk them around, it's almost like a game of chess. And then when you get that seal in, as it's like a really, really nice feeling, as you know.
I agree.
Sales is definitely, and it's so important as well in the agency game. So, so important. But it's yeah, the highs with sales is it's a good feeling.
It's a great feeling. It's a wonderful feeling. Yeah, it's awesome.
So what would you say if someone's watching this, right? They're thinking they're watching Saad. We've talked about, your success and how quickly you've done it, and they're thinking, my God, I would love to get those kind of results and to scale my agency that quickly into those kind of numbers. What are two or three tips that you would give to someone that's watching this, that's starting out, that's maybe, feeling frustrated with their progress, with their growth, and they're struggling? What kind of tips would you give that viewer?
So for this business particularly, tip number one, you can't do this alone. Okay. You just can't. Like, you need to have someone. You need to have a number two. You need to have a COO. You need to have a good CEO that you trust. And person has a work ethic of, like Superman, like someone really, really good with operations and they know what they're doing. And same for performance marketing. We're working with like dozens of performance marketing agencies, digital marketing agencies. We're working in 15 different industries right now. So the most successful one I've seen, and you might get a kick out of this, like they scaled to 80K a month in 1 year. 1 year.
Insane.
Insane,
Seven
huge,
figure run
huge.
rate, nearly a seven-figure
So,
run rate.
yeah, and that guy's a personal friend of mine. Like I'll be more than happy to, set up a meeting if you want to meet them. Like this guy's huge. And the best thing that their model was perfect. Himself, he was in sales, and his second was in ops. These two guys collectively scaled one in an agency to 80K a month in 1 year. So number one, you can't do this alone. Okay. Number two, you gotta work. Okay. You gotta work. Like you gotta work 20 hours
100%.
a day. You gotta work 20 hours a day. Like there have been months that I worked like 20 hours a day, burned out, and I'd be sleeping on the weekends. Sometimes I'll even be working on the weekends. Okay. Um, and number three, you just need to trust the process. Okay. Don't lose faith. There are bad times. There'll always be bad times in this space. Not everything's gonna go right all the time. They're gonna be ups and they're gonna be downs. But you just need to keep your head calm, go through it. Like you said, show up every single day and, get these, moving. So those are the three recommendations that I feel I would give to someone as a business owner. Like, don't do it alone. Work, 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 work. These were
I
the ones
completely
like,
agree. I completely agree. And you can't tell me, like, obviously, we don't want to be working crazy hours our whole career. But
no,
at some point, you're going to have to put in 1, maybe 2 years of hard ass deep work to get yourself to a position where you can outsource, where you can delegate the bits that you don't like. So if you don't like sales, you can get a rep in. If you don't like service delivery, you can get a media buyer in. If you don't like ops, you can get an ops guy in. But you need to put
Definitely.
in the work yourself in order to get to that stage. And that's what people forget. That's what maybe they don't forget. Maybe they don't want to know, or maybe they just don't want to do it in the first place. Like, no one is going to hand you a 6 figure or a 7 figure agency. It's just not going to
No,
happen. But if I
no,
said to you, you need to put in 2 years of hard work and you can live an amazing life for the next 20
exactly.
years.
Exactly. You
Like,
get to that point, like you can just hire people and delegate them. Which is like I said, like, before, like initially me and Talha and Shahir, we trained 3 people. And then those 3 people train more people and then more people and more people and more people. So now, like entire departments are being run by people, like those associates that came in day one. They're
yeah,
running their entire departments. One is managing a team of 15, while the other one's managing a team of 10. Okay. And they're all working great. They're doing good work. They're doing good work. And which has taken a lot of the pressure out of our hands because if we were doing fulfillment for 60 associates, then still be working 24 hours a day.
100%. Yeah. Well, we
Yeah.
will finish on this final question, and it comes back to mentorships. And I like the way you touched on it at the start. It's something that obviously you value a lot, and I value massively.
Yes.
And my mentor used to say to me, it's almost like mentorship is almost like time traveling, because if there's Dylan A and Dylan B and Dylan A goes it alone, it might take him 3 years to get to 10K per month. But if he has a
Uh,
mentor showing him the exact strategy, the exact blueprint, what to do, what not to do, he could get there in 6 months. So you're literally saving yourself years of time. So what would you say to someone out there running an agency, again, maybe frustrated with their progress and they're on the fence about getting mentorship or coaching? What would you say to them?
so I would say getting an advice was from someone who actually understands what you are trying to do is far more valuable than you putting in months to figure that part out yourself. Okay, just ask the right person. Just ask. Okay, like I read somewhere that the bravest thing I ever did was ask for help.
I like
Okay,
that.
exactly, exact. And I, it is like it is one of you have to do it down the line. Like, you can't have all the answers. You're not going to be right every single time. People get a kick out of doing something like they scale. I've seen businesses that scale to 100K a month. Okay, and for just 2 to 3 wrong decisions, they came down and like they just finished back
Hmm.
to zero. I
Yeah.
have seen them. I know people, okay, that happened. And why? Because they thought they were invincible. They thought, and he told me, he sat in front of me and he said, how would you react if I gave you 40K a month at the age of 22? 40K in profit. Okay. He said, what do you think you would do if I gave you 40K a month at the age of 22? You mess it all up as well.
Yeah.
Because that happens. So for that, you need someone who can tell you, all right, okay, this is what you need to do. Gets you focused, all right, keeps the trajectory clear. That's all. That's all. And even if it's like, 10 minutes of good advice, it's far more valuable than you spending $50,000 in ad spend or whatever, right? Just 10 minutes of good advice from someone who knows what you're doing, it's going to be far more valuable than any of the stuff out there. And I've seen it. I've seen
100%.
it. We've seen it with you. We saw it in the first month, man. Like, it has been one of the best months we've did, right? So we saw that. We saw that. We saw that being printed out. Like, we saw it being implemented
Yeah.
because, and we sat down and when we were making this decision, your decision particularly, me and Tala and she were sitting in a room and I was like, do you think it's of value? And Tala was like, do you know what our next 5 steps are? And I was like, no, I don't. Okay, that's why it's important. Okay,
Yeah.
So so let's say we didn't go with it. Let's say we ran the ad campaigns right now. Do you think we would have gotten leads? We wouldn't. We wouldn't have. We just pissed away that money.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, like that information that okay, let's just put a cap on it right now and do it again through this pattern with this idea in mind. And like the day that you gave me the idea of the hybrid funnel one, I just thought about it and I was like, bro, that's exactly what we need to do. Okay.
Yeah.
And
It's
I've been doing
logical.
it my yeah, we like sure we like thrown away $1,000 in ad spend just in I think September or something. Okay, nothing happened. Nothing happened. We thought every single person's doing it. Why is it not working? Because we couldn't find the point of it. We couldn't find the main junction. Okay, this is what we're missing, this small piece. And you looked at us and you said 10 minutes. Okay, Saad, this is what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
And
And
we
especially
couldn't have
when you're,
got, yeah, sorry. And we
sorry,
could
go
have
on.
gotten to the point in months. I can assure you that. Like, and even if we had, we would have the guts to implement it. We're like, ah, it's too risky. How, but again, so yeah, back to the,
Yeah, no,
I agree.
it's like when you're scaling, when you're at the level you're at, it's very much small little mechanism tinkering here and there, little things that get the big results. Like when you're getting from 30, 40, 50K and to 100K per month, like you guys are aiming to get to in 2025, it's very much small little changes and mechanisms around the business. Like you touched on it there, like we just made some very, very slight optimizations in your current client acquisition, and it's led to some very quick wins, some low hanging fruit. And with the ad campaigns, very, very common mistake with people scaling. They just push money into ads. They think it's going to scale them up. And they may not have a validated offer. They may not be packaging correctly. What funnel are they running? Is the ad actually created for cold traffic? Is the offer actually created for cold traffic? So there are a lot of intricacies, and yeah, it can be very, very easy to burn ad spend very, very quickly. But touching back on your point, like it's super, super valuable to invest in a blueprint, invest in a trajectory. But my favorite part of mentorship personally is accountability. Someone in your
Yeah,
corner telling you what to do, backing you up, bounce things off, because we don't have anybody in this space. We don't have a boss, we don't have a line manager, we don't have a director that we can bounce things off. And that
I agree.
small little person in your corner, that small little thing, just literally there to back you up, to bounce things off and point you in the right direction and keep you laser dialed in and laser focused. That to me is really the key behind scaling.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely 100%.
Nice one. Well, look, Sad, I really, really appreciate you doing this. Thanks for hopping on. This was a lot of fun, and I appreciate your hopping on, brother. I hope you all really enjoyed that student interview. It was a ton of fun to film. If you're currently scaling your own agency and struggling to land your first 5 to 10 clients, I still have a few slots open in my one-to-one mentorship program for this month. Inside, I'm guaranteeing you your first 5 agency clients, and the results we've been getting have been absolutely insane. So if this sounds of interest to you, click on the link below this video and book in a call. I look forward to speaking to you.